Hey, welcome back, Brazil, to your Caribou Data Science channel. This is the evening afternoon of October the 4th, 2021. This time here did a COVID-19 analysis. First of all, I'll give a big shout out to let's come over and take a second look over here. How many people did in fact watch this video yesterday? Brazil. So that's what you want to create a separate plot for each country. Of course, you see, this is one of those cases where we may simply use this table as a database, okay? But anyway, Brazil for this day here, okay. So for October the 4th, 2021, we had 3 views from you younger folks, 7 views from you older folks like myself, and 10 views total. But only 30% of the views were actually from people under the age of 18. So there's just a big shout out to all 10 of you folks in Brazil who did watch the video yesterday. I want to point out a couple of things in the description message below. First of all, you'll see a link to my Twitch account. Every day at 8 p.m. I do a live stream on Dave's Data Analytics channel on Twitch. This is almost always there's some form of data analytics, lots of R programming, among other things, and maybe a little even WordPress along the way. But I am trying to put together a data analytics online portfolio on WordPress. Anyway, the second point is you're going to see a link to my Twitter account. I would appreciate if you folks would click on that link to my Twitter account and follow me on Twitter. You have an impressive opportunity today to be the first person to follow me on Twitter, okay? And of course, don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share the video on Facebook and Twitter today, emails, and text messages. So let's get started, Brazil, for your numbers for today. We could, of course, on that screen, we could sort it by date. We could sort it. Anyway, let's don't allow ourselves to get distracted here, okay? So currently, in Brazil, you have about, let's say, 21.5 million cases reported, and about 598,000 deaths on average. What you can see here is this increase. And you can see so far you have more cases in 2021 and 2020. Of course, I don't know what the first cases are reported here, but almost certain that you've doubled your cases in 2020. Now the question remains is, how many of these people were vaccinated? What is the distribution of these numbers? You could, of course, do a histogram. Okay, just for the fun of it, let's do a quick histogram. Cases. Okay, what can we see? This is a clearly unimodal, and it is right screen, and it is skewed to the right. Most of the cases, unfortunately, most of the cases we could probably say most of the cases were under 50,000. For the 50,000, this is cases, so the x-axis would be the number of cases. Okay, so we can say most of the cases were under 50,000, because this is the number of times it's reported. Okay, so you can see like here, if this is 50,000, this means say about maybe 50 times in the data set. You had 50,000. You had about 45,000 deaths, cases. Okay, that's how many times that occurred. it's interesting. The deaths are playing out a lot differently. Clearly right skewed. But you got a real tail. You really see the deaths are gathered around, say, 100, 1,500 or less. Okay, it's sort of interesting. How come we have more distribution and fewer deaths along this line over here? Interesting, right? Again, unimodal and skewed to the right. All right, so let's go ahead and run the numbers for this overlay data. There's all kinds of crazy things we can do. Okay, we could do a histogram using ggplot2, and we could do it by month or by quarter. Okay, interesting, huh? So anyway, what you can see is you have had more cases in 2020 than 2020, like you said a minute ago. The question is, what's the distribution of these cases for 2020, and what is the we could do a histogram by year. Okay, we could do a histogram by quarter. All right, there's something to think about here. Okay, twice as many cases 2020 as 2020. How many of these people are vaccinated, and what is the distribution of these numbers? Over twice as many people have died from COVID-19, over 400,000 in 2020. And less than 200,000 died. Again, the question is distribution. Now, what you can see, yours is a little different. Is your increase from July last year was steady, but it wasn't nearly as bad. A lot of countries had a big spike in 2020, followed by a long declining pattern in 2020 down to 2021 down to July. But yours is sort of a long meandering climb. Okay, spiking at. We're going to ignore this here, but it's probably some type of anomaly. It's probably maybe. Maybe they went back and they discovered some deaths they missed. So we could say here, you spiked back on June 23rd at 115,228. As of October 3rd, it was falling all the way down to 9,004, with an average of 22,065 cases per day. But again, you had sort of a late spike. Okay, first of all, you didn't have the big spike over here in 2020 falling down, but you did a longer increase in deaths over here, with the deaths spiking on April the 8th at 4,249 and falling all the way down to 225 by October the 3rd, with an average of 542 deaths per day. Now again, you can see through this long increase in climbing pattern in weekly cases, followed by this declining pattern here. And the question still remains, how many of these people were vaccinated? And what you can see here, this long declining pattern here. Question, what do we do about people who basically either deny that either don't take vaccine or deny, don't really believe the numbers of COVID-19? Well, the question is, we don't do anything with them. But people are not going to believe, are not going to believe. Okay? So, anyway, long declining pattern deaths, but how many of these people who died here were actually okay, the reason the other thing didn't work when I was trying to do a group is because it's still taking the top 10 values. And the top 10 values would still be confirmed. Okay? Jason. Okay. So what we see here is the question is, how many of these people have been vaccinated? Okay? Let's take a look at the monthly numbers. Well, look at this. 1, 2, 3 month in a row decline in COVID-19 cases in Brazil. This is good news, my friends. What about this? Look at this. 3, 4, 5 month in a row decline in COVID-19 deaths in Brazil. This is really fantastic news, I must say, to you folks in Brazil. Clearly, your vaccine program is having some positive effect. Okay? So this does conclude the report for Brazil for today. Alright. Okay, so that does conclude Brazil's report for today. We can just move on to Spain now.